All right, I'm back. How's this look? Oh yeah? Yeah, I cranked up the bit rate too. Cranked it up to, oh shoot, that's bad. Let's move this stuff around. Let's see how that's coming through. That looks okay. Awesome, 1080p. How do I do 4K and 3D? All right, so what I wanted to do today was kind of just test this thing out. And if it works, maybe I'll just work on something really simple and try out kind of coding in front of what looks like 3 people. Yeah, I don't think you want to see me in 4K. All right. Okay, so let's see if we can work on something. So one of the things I've been trying to figure out is on my blog, if I search for docs.microsoft.com, yeah, so I would have a link like this here. You can't see the link. Where it goes off to docs.microsoft.com. And being the kind of the data-driven team that we are, we would like to, whenever we link to something, put a refer query string at the end of things that go to certain properties like docs.microsoft.com. So one thing I can do is I can do a search and replace on my blog. But I was thinking is, wouldn't it be nice if I could just drop a JavaScript onto this page and it's automatically just adds that query string to everything, and then we can track how much traffic we get to docs.microsoft.com from this blog. So I figured I'd write that today. And there's a couple of things I wanted to try as well. I just installed the Jest extension. At least I think I installed it in Visual Studio, or Visual Studio Code. So I haven't really done any unit testing with Jest before, so I figured I'd try that as well while I'm writing up this simple little script. So that's what I was going to do today. What do you think, Max? Oh, that would be awesome. How come it says I have 0 people watching? That's weird. All right, so I'm going to get started. Let's figure out how. Let's create some folders. What should this thing be called? That's always the hardest part. All right. Oh yeah, it shows 3 again. It was showing 0 there earlier. All right. Feel free to heckle. Actually, I could really use a name for this thing. What should I call it? Tagger alt what? Is that really what it's going to be called? I can't even pronounce it. How about, oh man, probably something with the word track in it, maybe. Okay. It's called CDA tracker? No, that's no good. You know what? While we think of the name, let's see if this actually would work. So I'll dive into the console and see whether we can actually make this work. Oh. All right. So I think it's document. So I think the script's going to do something like document.get something, get elements by tag name. It's going to grab all the anchor tags, and somewhere in there, it's my link. Where would it be? Not that one. Not that one. That's no good. If anyone knows a good way of actually selecting that one, let me know. But I'll kind of do it the poor man's way here. Throw an ID on it. And now I should be able to grab that element. And let's see what the element looks like. Well, I can't see much with it. Oh, that's no good. Okay, let's just look at any kind of link here. Oh, there it is. We found it. Oh, shoot. It's number 9. All right, let's expand that. So we have a hash. Really? Oh, I was looking. Oh, this is a different link, which is fine. And we have, there's a host name, that's good. So we want to be able to filter by host names and only act on the ones in a whitelist. So that's good. Then we have the path, we don't really need the path. Is there like a query or a search? No query. Oh, I can make this one bigger. Nice. There's a search. I think the search is what I want. So let's try that. It's number 9. And then I want to change the search to something else. Now let's see what I get. And oh, I need the search, yeah. Let's go to the search. Foo equals 1. And then did it modify the href as well? It did. The foo shows up right there. So it looks like it's going to work. So let's click that and see if it actually goes to the site. It does, so that kind of worked. Oh, and I forgot to shut down Teams. All right, quit. All right, so that works. Okay, so now do we have a name? Let's see. Campaign, domain campaign tracker. Something a little bit shorter. Campaign tracker. Does that exist? We need a cool JavaScript name. That is not what I wanted. Stop it. That's better. Nice. That's a nice query selector. Very good. Do we know other domain names that we should be adding this to? Let's see how many things there are under the name campaign. Anything under CDA? Cloud Developer Advocates, CDA. So like a CDA tracker. No CDA tracker. Huh. Of course, we need to be cool, so let's just remove the E, CDA tracker. Oh, you're leaving. All right. That's all right. I'm going to keep recording myself. Oh, there's 4 people now. How do I see who's watching? This is fascinating. All right, there's people watching. I'll keep going. We'll call it CDA tracker for now. That's what I do for everything. And then I will start in Visual Studio Code. And we can start coding this, I think. So how do we want this to work? So we probably want to add a script at the end of the page. And then I guess we can call something. Perhaps it'd be something like CDA tracker. And then some kind of config. And then maybe a list called domains. Something like docs.microsoft.com. Hey, is that Cecil? How's it going? So, what I was thinking was that I was going to update my blog so that all the references, or so all the links out to things like docs.microsoft.com, we can add on a tracking link at the end. But then, so I could do it 2 ways. One is to do a search and replace, which would be pretty easy. But what I thought would be more useful, maybe, is to create a JavaScript file that we can just drop at the end of the page, and then it'll just modify everything for me, and then maybe other developer advocates can use it too. And chances are, actually, I probably should have done a search. I'm sure this thing probably actually exists, but I'm going to code it in anyway, just to try this out. That's really big. So those are the list of domains, and maybe we'll pass it some other kind of configuration. So I think the WT tag is actually web trends. So we do something like, so I guess we need a campaign or something. Should we pull that up here? I think it's something like it'd be something like event. That's probably like my blog. And then I forgot what the thing was in the middle. And then my kind of like my alias is at the end. So that's and shoe. Does anyone know the format of how we're supposed to be doing these tracking links? Max is the one who knows, and I think he took off. Thanks, Cecil. So anyway, I think we'll do something like this. And so what we need to do is write this script now, so that when we call this, it'll just modify everything on the page. Obviously, it's only going to work for things that are kind of rendered statically in the DOM. So anything that's done by things like jQuery or Angular, React, Vue, stuff like that, that's probably not going to work. Oh yeah, so the thing in the middle is kind of like so campaign, medium, and alias. Is that what that is? Campaign will be, I actually don't even know what we put for our blog. Oh, sorry, that's medium. All right, so let's write something like that. But what I wanted to do actually was to write it using tests. So I'm going to try to drive my development or drive my design using tests because I want to try out this Jest extension here. And I quickly tried it out last night and it sort of kind of worked. So we'll see how that goes. So create a couple of folders. We got some tests. So let's create a test. Actually, the first thing we do, yeah, Jest, I believe, came from Facebook. I think that's what all the cool kids are using, so I figured I'd try that out. Where am I? Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to install Jest, and I'll save it as a development dependency. So that's going to go off and do it. Yeah, the thing that I kind of liked about it is that it's fairly easy to get started. It's literally, you just write stuff with the word test, or with in a test function. It's kind of like describe in Mocha and Jasmine, I guess. And it just kind of works. It figures out where the tests are and all that stuff. So let's try that out. And one thing I learned yesterday when trying this out is that the extension doesn't work unless your solution's under source control. So I'll do that now. well, that's going to pull in a lot of stuff. So I need a get ignore. And what is this? This is the one with no JavaScript, JS, and node. That work? Nope. Do it again. Add get ignore, node. There it goes. And these should be gone, but they're not gone. What's this button? Refresh. All right, perfect. That works. Okay, so now let's write our first test. Oh, that's a good point about the licensing. Oh, geez. Where do you see the license? So apparently it's MIT. Yeah, Facebook would love to have my tests. They're going to be glorious. All right. Let's assume that we can use that license. I'm just going to keep going until a lawyer calls me. That's how I usually do things. All right, let's create some tests. We'll call it CDA tracker. If I can type. So, need to read the manual. Let's have to write a test, it looks like. We'll call this, I'm just going to call it a test because I don't know what I'm writing. And how do you do an assert in this thing? Expect something to be something. Expect one to be. It's no IntelliSense, so something's up here. Well, we'll keep going and see what happens. Expect one to be one. And I started writing JavaScript last week without semicolons. And now semicolons actually seem weird to me. So I saved it. Nothing happened. All right. We might have to modify this package JSON and change this to Jest. Let's just run this first to see if it even works. So npm test. And it passed. So that's good. So let's see if the extension is going to work too. So open up this file. The extension should pick that up, but it didn't. So let's restart it. How do I reload this window? I was watching the other people's streams in the last couple of days. They all have music. I don't have any music. So hope everybody likes silence. How do I reload the window? Does anybody know? Oh, I'll just ask it. Reload window. Still, oh, there it goes, there it goes. Oh yeah, so the extension clicked in. Oh no, you forgot your dot. Where'd it go? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it just said that the test passed. So if I just change this to 2 and save it, it now says it's failed, and I expected 1, but I got 2, so that's perfect. So it works. That's good. So let's figure out how we want this thing to work. So probably want to have a function that I can test. That'd be handy. I need to change it to 2 spaces. So it should be something like function and it should return, or it should take in the config. Because we need it to, yeah, so this would be like the thing that we actually call. There needs to be something that is, that this thing calls that we can test. So this is the thing that we call from the page, like we would do it over here. But deep within it, what we want to do is create another function, and I gotta name it again. I don't like names. That's gonna be a pen tracking info. We can always change that later. So that's going to take a config, but it's also going to take in a either one anchor tag, or this is taking a whole list. So we'll take in links. That's good. And I think Jest is one of those things where everything has to be a module. Okay. I'm just going to go module.exports. We'll call it append tracking info equals append tracking info. I think that kind of works. Who knows? Let's just try it. Hi. And then we'll hop over here to the tests. And so we're going to go and we'll require it. We'll call it CDA tracker. No, it's just actually going to be called append tracking info. And it's going to be, I'm inside tests right now, so I'm going to get out of that. Go to the source and CDA tracker, perfect. Semicolons. Let's see if I can use it. So let's call it append tracking info. Just call it with nothing. It shouldn't matter. Save it. It passed. Is there a way to see the output? Just show test output channel. All right, that worked. Oh, and we got our high over here too. It's perfect. Okay, it's cool. Oh, and that's nice. Cool. Okay, so that works. So what do we expect this to do? So we need to pass in a bunch of anchor tags. So I need to know what the anchor tag looks like. Actually, it's got to be a better way. Test JavaScript DOM without Phantom.js. So there's this thing called like JS DOM or something. Actually, let's go straight there. Yeah, so I think this thing we can use without pulling in Phantom.js, and it just kind of pretends to be a DOM. Yeah, so I can get a new one of these, and then I can build up an anchor tag, and then we can try to feed it into the function and have it modify it. Yeah, Chrome Headless is another one, but I want to like totally get out of even the need to even bring in another process. So what I'm hoping for is that this thing actually runs basically inside a node without needing V8 or anything else. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Let's see if this works. So I create a DOM, and then, yeah, so I have access to the document here, so I can do create element or something. So let's try that. This thing called JS DOM. Doesn't tell you how to install it. Well, let's just assume that's right. Hope it's not something malicious. Oh, and I didn't save it. Shoot. Actually, is that a dev dependency? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. So now it's there. Let's see if I can still use it even though it's a dev dependency. I think so. It's been a while. So I should be able to bring that in. What does it want to call itself? Okay, this will do. So now I got one of those things. And I need the new one up. Okay, cool. I can do that. And there was a shorthand there somewhere. Right here. You can pull out a document from, oh no, you can't really. You can pull the window out, I guess. Oh, I just noticed that I'm 4 spaces here too. I should update my workspace. That's better. So now I have a window. So what I should be able to do is see if it works. There's no IntelliSense, which kind of scares me a little bit. Let's keep going. Let's see how that goes. Save it. The test should still pass. Or it doesn't, so it's upset about something. JS DOM's not defined. Oh, of course not. What was I typing there? Okay, that should be better. All right, there it goes. It works again. So hopefully now window is something. Nope. Well, that's making me sad a little bit. It is a type of JS DOM. Let's try this out. Let's go DOM. Now is it going to work? Oh, there we go. There's some IntelliSense. Not sure why I needed. Why it didn't work for the deconstruction. Nope, still doesn't work. Fine, be that way. Nope. wondering if I'm doing this wrong. Let's see. dom.windows.document. So there's something there. So let's try it. So we'll create an anchor tag. So it'll be like document dot, what is it? No, I don't even know what that is. I need my autocomplete. Let's test it out here. So it'll be document dot create element, and I think it's just a tag, or it's just a tag name. Oops. And we'll create an a tag, and then a dot href equals docs.microsoft.com slash, it doesn't matter at this point, foo. Actually, I want to give it a hash as well, var equals 1, just to see what this thing does. And let's console log out the hash. Oh, it's not the hash. That's actually the search. All right. See if that works at all. Oh yeah, so it actually logged it out, var equals 1. So it's working. So it's behaving sort of like a DOM. So that's good. So what I actually want now is, let's see, change it to google.com. And I want to be able to pass it into this thing. So I'll need some rules. And the setup for this test is way too long. I'm going to fix that in a bit. So we need the config. So it's going to do all that. We actually don't need the stuff in the middle. Oops. And we'll pass it in. I think we wanted it's up here somewhere. So we want to config first and then the list of links. So we'll pass in the config and then we'll pass in that link. And what we should expect is it's probably a list of links coming back. Actually, should this thing have side effects? Yeah, this thing is just going to have side effects. It makes me a little bit sad, but it's okay. So we should be able to check that, expect that a dot href to be, and it should be exactly the same because we made no changes. Save it. That's actually a really bad test because it passed when I wrote no code. Which is probably fine because it's actually a perfectly fine implementation of that function that writes no code. So that actually does nothing. So we're not going to keep this test around. So so we're going to test when, so the simplest one we can do is link that matches whitelist should have tracking attached. That's really bad too. We'll come back and fix that in a bit. So what we want to do is we'll change this to, actually, no, this is a perfectly good test because we want to actually pin down this behavior. So even though it passes right away by doing nothing, this test is still useful. So we'll plop that down, we'll create another one. So this is the one that matches. And if we go docs.microsoft.com/bar, so what we should be expecting, and let's make it simpler first. What we would expect is that it's going to have this wt dot mc underscore id equals, and then it's going to be let's call the campaign foo medium bar. So it's going to be campaign first, so foo dash bar dash my name, and that should fail, and it does, so that's perfect. So let's make that pass. So so we have a list of links, we have config. So we want to check, so we want to find all links that that need to be modified. We did fairly naively right now. So for link, is it of links? So that works. If L dot, what was that, host a domain? So we're going to take a look here. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. We're looking for the, I thought it was a domain, it was the host name. So we want the host name. Let's put in host and host name. Interesting. Well, we'll find out. So we'll call it host name. Links dot. How do I search for something in JavaScript? Is this filter? Is this sum? What exists? Actually, doesn't Sarah Drasner might have an array browser. That shows you all the methods on a JavaScript array explorer. I would like to something else. I need to find out if a certain element exists. Includes. Let's see if that works. Oh, but I want that to be a function though. Can I pass in a function? I thought there was something like a sum or something. JavaScript array documentation. Yeah, right there. So, yeah, so I can pass in a function. That's what I want. So I want to find stuff that have this host name. I need all items that where I is the same as the host name. So I'm finding all elements that have the host name. Actually, I'm not even doing true DDD at this point, or TDD at this point, because I really don't have to put that condition in until I have a test that tells me to. Oh well. All right, so now we got some. So now if the link actually contains one of these things, then we need to just add on the query string. We do it pretty naively right now. So we go L dot search equals question mark WT dot MC underscore ID equals, and then it'll be, we'll use the string interpolation. And we'll call it config dot, I think it's campaign dash config dot, I think it's medium dash config dot, I think it's my alias. That's good. And then let's see if that passes. It doesn't. That's kind of sad. Let's put a breakpoint. I tried debugging yesterday, and debugging didn't actually do anything. Let's see if we have better luck today. Yeah, it looks like it just debugged, or it just started a debugger and just stopped. It also adds another dot here, which is kind of sad. And I found the only way to get rid of that dot is to close it and open it back up. And now we're back to one dot, but this still doesn't help me. What's happening here? I'm really lost without a debugger. This even work? So if the links, oh yeah, no, I'm iterating over the wrong things, or I'm checking the wrong things. So I actually want to check the domain. So config.domains, and if there are some domains that match the host name, does that pass? Nope. Did it rerun? Also no. What is happening? Okay, no, it still failed. Undefined, undefined, undefined. Good. Okay, so that tells me something. Oh shoot, that's why. I have it one level too deep. What should we call this? Let's bump it out. Then I don't have to worry about naming this. All right. So we're going to try to do that. And that should work. Still failed. Oh, I'm getting closer. Oh, it's because I just modified this. Dang it. That's going to work once it compiles, I think. Yes? No? Did it pass? Nope. It says it passed, but I still got a red dot. So this extension is driving me crazy. Now it's totally broken. Let's reload the window. Still thinks it's broken. Oh no, it's fine now. Okay, so the test passed. Wow, that was hard. All right, and we didn't break the first one. So if it doesn't actually have, oh, actually we needed that if statement because otherwise it would have failed this test. All right, I guess that's good. So what's going to happen if we pass in something that already has a query string? And again, we need to refactor the test later. Link that matches whitelist. And has existing query string. Should have the tracking attached properly. So now we're thinking about something like this. So it sort of has a bar equals 1, and I guess we haven't used foo yet. Foo equals 2. So what we should expect is that it should be bar equals 1 and foo equals 2. And then we get that link added to the end. So we save that, that's going to fail. It does. So let's make that pass. So now, in here, call that tracking. And then take that out as well. So basically we say there's actually a couple of cases there. A little bit tricky. Let's make that specific test pass. So if the link search, if it has any kind of a search, which is a really bad way to do it, but I think it's going to make it pass, which is what we really want to do. Then we want to go l.search equals l.search. And then we want to add a ampersand, and then we want the tracking information. Otherwise, we want l.search equals, and now we don't want a question mark there for tracking information. Save that. So, and now that passes, that passes. Okay, so all passes now. So that's good. So there's some other kind of cases here that we can test for. So if something already has this particular link in there, or it already has a refer link, so there's two things we could do. We can either take it out and replace it with ours, or we could be nice and just leave it there. So I think the easier thing to do is just to leave it there. So, and has an existing tracking ID, should be left alone. So I'm talking about a case like this, .mc underscore ID equals 1-2-3. Doesn't really matter at this point. And what I'm expecting is that we don't touch this at all. Just gonna leave it alone. And we save that. That should fail, and it does. Good. So now we come over here, and we're going to be a little bit more smart about this. And there's some serious refactoring that needs to be done in here, but let's keep going. So we will see whether or not already tracked equals, and then we'll use my best friend regex to figure this out. So looking for, I guess, a word boundary, but probably a little bit more than that. I am looking for, I think, either question mark or an ampersand. And I can never remember what needs to be escaped and what don't. So let's put those in for now, see if that works. Actually, let's test it out here. Regex tester. Which one do I usually use? Is this one? This will do. So the string that I want to test for is something like wt.mc underscore ID equals 1, 2, 3. So what I'm looking for is if this thing already contains a question mark or a ampersand followed by wt dot mc underscore ID equals, and probably doesn't matter too much at that point. I think this pretty much says that we have that link there. So that seems to be good. See what happens if I have an ampersand. See what happens if I have like foo equals. Okay, that seems to work. So we'll take this. Plop it in here. And do I need it to be case sensitive? Let's leave it that way for now. Actually, no, well, let's make it case sensitive or insensitive. So if it has that in there, then it's already tracked. So what is that? .test. And then I want to test it against the search. So, and then I want to go if not already tracked. Oops. Then do that, else do something else. So if it's, actually we just leave it alone if it's already tracked. So we need to move all this stuff in there. So if it's already tracked, if it's not already tracked, then do stuff, otherwise leave it alone. So that sounds okay. So we'll save that. And the test passes. So it's good. So now there's probably some refactoring to be done. So we quickly do that. So here, we're kind of for eaching through stuff. Do we need to do that? We can probably find all links that are that need to be modified and isn't already tracked. So we'll extract out already tracked. We'll call it is already tracked. And we'll call this. So we just return what I had there. Link. Nope. Yeah, it's fine. Let's pass the whole link in there. So we'll go return link. Basically that. It's good. Take that out. So that should still pass. Oh, it failed. What did I do? Oh, I didn't pass it in. Still failed. What have I done? Oh, it is already tracked. All right, that's passed. Okay, so a little bit of refactoring there. So here we want to also extract that out as well. And this one is needs tracking. Also give it a link here. So, and then we'll return, oh no, just copy it over something else. So we'll rip that out again. So that's not going to work. So it's going to be link domains. And we'll just say domains.sum, and then link.hostname. And then we'll plop that in. Needs tracking, and I need the link, and we also need domains. Save that, and that still passes. That's good. All right, so now we can do some better refactoring here. So how's the refactoring in VS Code now? Let's see. Rename symbol. So I want to change this to domain needs tracking. Good, that seems to work. Because what I want to do is I want to go I hate naming things. Links that need tracking. That's a little long. Let's call it needs tracking for now. And then it will be links dot filter, and it will be things that the domain needs tracking. And it's not already tracked. And that is not I need an L. And this thing is not already tracked. I think it just takes an L there. So that's good. So right now I'm going to get a list of, let's save that to make sure I didn't do anything silly. So at this point, we just have to process all these things, which helps a little bit, I guess. So we'll call it, oops. So it'll be like still L needs tracking. And we no longer need to check for this, or this, or this. Format that. Does that still pass? Still passes. Okay, so it's a little bit simpler now. So, so it needs tracking. The names can still be a little bit better. I figure out, I build the tracking URL, and then I figure out what how to do that. So this can be simplified as well to a one-liner. Probably won't bother with that. Just make it a little bit shorter here. I think we're good. Okay, so pretty happy with this. Let's hop back over here. And the tests are still a little bit messy. I'm always newing this thing up. I'm always creating an A tag. But it's not too bad. I think we'll leave it that way for now, because I want to see if this thing actually works. And another test that we probably should have is, we'll probably put that in later. It'll probably pass, but we just want to make sure that anything, or if I basically have multiple items in the array, and they're all, some of them are in the whitelist, some of them aren't, that still works, but let's worry about that later. Let's just test this out, and we'll just call it a day. So we'll create this thing called maybe, let's create like a samples folder. Create a file called index.html, and I need head. Do we have Emmet? Oh, sorry. Do we have Emmet here? I guess we do. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, and I want 2 spaces here again. Really got to fix my workspace. All right. Good. All right. So let's throw a bunch of links in. So we want an order list. We want maybe 5 items, and each of those has an A tag. Nice. Okay, so we need one of those. We need, I guess we should say Google, and we need docs.microsoft. Actually, let's just grab a real link from docs. Oh yeah, sure. And we'll just grab something. Bot service is kind of cool. We'll grab this. We'll put one in here that already has a tracking link in there. We'll just call it, I don't know, yeah, 1, 2, 3 again. So I have nothing really clever to put down. So this would be docs link 1, docs link 2, and a couple more of these. Let's just do 3 and see if it works. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. How would this work? I guess we'd have served this somehow. Let's worry about that later. We'll need a script, and that will be /source/cda tracker. And that won't totally work because the thing actually doesn't do anything. So we actually need this to call append tracking info, and then pass the config, and I need a bunch of links, and that's the document dot get elements by tag name. We'll pass that in. So that should work. I see Jest is broken again. Come back. It's just very confused at this point. Let's see if it's still working. Let's make a change to this file. One failed. Unexpected token import. What did I just do? How did I just break this? It was working a second ago. I am stuck. Totally was just working. All right, let's make sure that it also breaks in here. Yep. Oh, I must have done something in that file. Something horrible. All right, how did I type that? This must have gone in there when I was just typing on stuff. Oh, yeah. So when I accidentally accepted one of the other IntelliSense things for append something, I guess it imported something. So it should work now. And it does. Let's double check in the terminal. They pass as well. Good. Okay, so the test saved me. That's good. So right now, these two things are global. Actually, all these things are global. I think that's fine right now. We'll have to fix that in a bit. But let's just finish this up by writing some script here. So we'll just take what we wanted to do here. Come over to my HTML and do exactly that. So I want to, anything that's docs.microsoft.com, and the campaign would be blog. Actually, Medium is blog too. Can they both be blog? Campaign will be, it could really be anything. Got Azure. We just want to see if this works. All right, so it's going to load that thing. Who knows? There's a small chance that it might work. All right, so let's hop over to I need to look something up. So was it Python simple HTTP server? How do I start that up? This one right here. they'll actually remember this. So this is a good place to start it. And we'll use like port 8080. 8080. And of course that's not going to work. But I can just browse it. So I go to samples. And you see it totally didn't work at all. Module is not defined. Oh yeah, okay. Because I did this stuff over here to make that work for the tests. I really have to check for this. Module, what is it, type of module? If it's not undefined. And module.exports is a thing. Then I do that. Okay, so let's try that again. And the tests still pass, which is good. Okay, so one of those things went away. Filter is not a function. Why is filter not a function? Can I use array filter? Says I can use it. So that thing must not be an array. Thankfully, I'm in the browser now, so I can test it. So let's double check. So that's this thing right here. So let's put let's put a breakpoint there. Actually, where's the breakpoint? Is it here or here? Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's refresh. I should hit this thing. So what is links? Links is an HTML collection, which is not necessarily an array, and that's my problem. More Google. HTML collection to array. All right, good to see other people are having this problem. Let's make sure that I have the one with the biggest, the largest number of votes. Good. More concise. Is that really more concise? Array.from. But that's not going to work on all browsers. So let's go lower and do that. All right. So this thing right here. And everything passes still. Good. Let's go back over here, refresh, and this time there's no red. And oh, looks like it's working. Yeah, like this one's there. This one didn't get modified. Let's inspect it. So we can see the one that we wanted to get to change, we did. This one didn't get touched. We probably could have added a couple more. So for instance, if this was just foo equals that should attach it, and it does. Right there. It's beautiful. Brings tears to my eyes. Okay. That's all working. And we're at about an hour and a half here, so it's probably a good stopping point. So what we did was we fumbled around with my new setup, and then started writing this thing to append these tracking links to things on pages. So on web pages, just by dropping in a script and a little bit of config. So that was pretty cool. And we also tried out this thing called Jest, which is a JavaScript testing framework from Facebook. And we also use this Jest extension from, I don't know where it's from. Somebody wrote it. Somebody named Orta. That does kind of like live testing, which is pretty cool. So hopefully my next one will be a little bit better organized and more interesting. But thanks for checking this out. I'm going to find out how to stop this now. Bye.